Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. Might not be all that, but it's a pretty cool design and really pretty easy to draw. I'm going to kind of bring this in to kind of show you what I did. And it's so easy, but I did it a little bit different way than maybe you would think. So I just made an ellipse and I'm going to make it 6 inches. And then I'm going to set my nudge factor on 3. And basically I'm going to cut this in half. Now, I want that arch. So I'm going to take that one, I'm going to take my virtual segment delete key and delete that side. So I have this arch. Now, it's not going to reach all the way around in just a second, but you almost have to do that to get an equal amount because I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to Control D, then I'm going to double click on the rotation. I'm going to put it there on that node, and I'm just going to rotate it to where I think I like it. It doesn't really matter number-wise, and then Control D, Control D, Control D all the way around. It actually almost worked perfectly. Now, I do want to take this ellipse, and I'm going to actually hold down the Shift key and make it smaller where every one of those lines fits in there. Then I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool, and you don't have to do it exactly like this. There's several ways you could do it, but we're going to make this shape. I really want that last one to be, yeah, there you go. Now, I should have grouped all this together. I'm going to change my nudge factor like to 6, and I'm going to nudge the red out of the way, 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 red out of the way. And I have that point to rotate from. I'm going to Control G to group these. And I'm going to move these out of the way. I'm going to move this out of the way. What I kind of like about it, you've got some different shape ones. We're going to test it out before we go any further. Control D and make a duplicate, and then move the center rotation of there. And just, it should be something like 60, you could do 60 degrees, but then they're going to be touching. Well, that doesn't really matter. You know what? I like that. So what I'm going to do now, and is I'm going to left click, right click, and you can see that, well, if we do both of them, see some of these are going down into that. And I don't want anything overlapping, so now I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool, and I'm actually going to nudge them over as I'm doing it. And now that I know it's going to work on 60 degrees, Control G to group it, and we'll move this out of the way. Now I can go ahead and put in my, if I want to make my interact, I made this one a little bit different, thinner lines, evidently. I'm going to put a little darkness in this center. I think the more lines would be maybe the better. But we're going to Control D and put it right there on that node and rotate it 60 degrees. See, this way I'll have nothing overlapping. Now, it doesn't look that special. Well, you might not think it looks special at all, but I think when you add a black box around it, I like my first one better, but this one's equally as cool. Completely different pattern. I really don't. I drew that a couple hours ago when I was just playing around, and I do kind of like that, but this is different. So anything that you can do and you can rotate them, you're going to get that effect. And you could, you know what? That was pretty fun. Let's change this up a little bit. Good, I don't have them grouped together yet. Let's just make this a little different. Let's get back to our interactive field tool. And let's put, well, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to put a red still right here so that I don't want too much darkness. But now I'm going to put a white in the center. Look at that. And I can change the angle of the white. And then I'm going to put red next to it. So I'll just have a thin strip of white. And you could do that repeatedly. You know what? Let's do it. See what it looks like. Let's put another white and then another red. Yeah, you know what? I like the one strip better. Then, because you have that like that, that's going to really look good when you put a black background. Control D. I moved it. Whenever you see something jiggle, just delete it. And then move the center rotation. It's still there. And I'm going to rotate it 60 degrees. Well, see, it was at 300. So Control D, 360. Control D, Control D, Control D. Now let's look what it looks like with a black background. Those white stripes actually make it look like it's more curved than it is. That's pretty cool. Little fun thing to draw. Anyway, I hope that helped. Thank you for watching.